and welcome to another weekly math talk. So today we got the Mary Kay pink clay mask. I forgot that I had this. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. So we put it on and we leave it on for 10 minutes and then we rinse. So I thought I would tell you guys about my ferrets today. So I used to have ferrets. You may have noticed in more videos that I now have a cat. A cat named Snickers. But before Snickers, I had ferrets. Now you may be asking, what brings someone to get ferrets? Well, before the ferrets, I did have a cat. And he died very suddenly out of nowhere. I'm not really sure what happened to him, but you could see in his eyes, if you look back on pictures, that something wasn't right about him. You know, he looked like he had something going on with one of his major organs, and that is likely how he passed away. And I was devastated from that, and I didn't want another kitty because I was so sad. So I decided I still wanted some kind of animal, just not a cat. And my brother, when I was younger, had a ferret that tragically died. We blame my mom. But I was like, oh, ferrets are cool people. I should get ferrets. And you can't have just one ferret because ferrets bond with each other, so typically you want at least 2 ferrets. And that's what I did. So I got all the things to get ferrets, but I hadn't actually gotten them yet. Because, you know, ferrets are expensive. Not as expensive as they are now. They used to be cheaper, but they got more expensive over time when people started buying them more and became more popular. So I got Ferris and Ella. And Ferris forever will be my grumpy boy. He's so grumpy. But Ella was very sweet, but also got into stuff. She was also deaf. She was a white ferret. Often white ferrets are deaf and sometimes end up blind as well. And she couldn't hear anything, and so she would be left out all the time because I couldn't find her. And, you know, one time it took us like hours. We finally found her in a lunchbox. She didn't think of checking in the lunchbox because why would she be in there? But obviously it's a comfy place, so what was I thinking? This one time she got lost in the walls of the house for over 24 hours. So in the bathroom of my dad's house where I was living at the time, there's a hole around this pole. And, you know, I guess I really didn't think the ferrets would go in there. But no, Ella did. I don't know if Ferris ever did, maybe once, but she would get in there and then I would dangle a treat in there and grab her, and then I was stuffing stuff in there to block it. I finally figured out the right thing after this happened. But she goes into the wall. I can't get her out. She won't come out. And I'm like, where is this ferret? So I'm like freaking out. I keep on like checking there. And then I go all the way to the basement. And I check there. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm on the second floor, right? And so there's this floor, the main floor, and then the basement. This ferret ended up in the basement eventually. So I just went downstairs before I left one day, and there she was, poking her little head out. I saw some insulation on the floor, and she's just like, girl, really? 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 So I had to get her all situated after that, and then she was fine. Eventually, she passed away for different reasons, and then I was left with just Ferris, and I was like, Ferris gonna get sad, he gonna get depressed, he gonna die. So we need to get him some buddies. So we did. So my friend helped me do a search for people who were giving away ferrets. and she found these people who also had a cage that I could have. And they gave me that and a carrier for them because I just came to pick them up. I didn't have a carrier. I was just going to let them like roam in the car or whatever. I used to take my ferrets on trips sometimes, and I'd have them in the back in their cage because their cage just fit perfectly in the back of my car, and they would just hang out in there the whole trip. So I guess I really didn't think about it. I was a little naive, but they gave me a carrier, so that helped out a lot. Now, they already had names for these ferrets, so the big one was Quicksilver, and the little one was Lady Tyron. And I shortened her name to Lady, and I kept Quicksilver. So I had Quicksilver and Lady. And Lady, sweetest girl. Sweetest girl. She was so sweet. And Quicksilver, he just dominant. And, you know, in the beginning, it was actually really hard to tell Quicksilver and Ferris apart. They have, like, the same coloring. You could only really tell by their paws. Their paws were different. And I thought it was funny because over time, Ferris's coat started to change. So he became lighter while Quicksilver still had the darker coat. So then eventually you could totally tell them apart. They're also different sizes, but that only meant so much, I feel like, because Quicksilver was longer and Ferris was smaller, skinnier, and Quicksilver was just like, and Lady's just a small little ferret. Like, if you brought Lady anywhere, everybody thinks she's a baby ferret. Like, one time, my husband had Lady and for some reason had her harness on her and couldn't get it off, and it was too tight, and so he had to cut it off. And then he went to the pet store to get a new harness, and he was describing, like, the size of the ferret and showed him the harness and everything. And the pet store worker was like, "Oh, you got a baby ferret, so cute!" And he was like, No, she's full grown. She's just small. Because she is the smallest ferret, full-grown ferret that I have ever met. Sincerely. Quicksilver is one of the biggest ones I've ever met. So that's kind of funny. But I have met a ferret that's bigger than him. Surprisingly. These ferrets, they get pretty big. They get pretty big. And actually, the one that was bigger was a girl. And that's usually not that way. So I had these ferrets for a long time. And I loved these ferrets. They came with so many good memories. Me and Lady would play tag together. So I would just kind of like, boop her. And she would chase me around. And then she'd like, Wah! And then she'd run away, and then I could find her and chase her. Literally, we're playing tag together. So cute. And the ferrets would, like, hide places, so they like to be under the dishwasher. That's one of their favorite spots. Actually, this one right here, this Snick. When he was a baby, he could fit under the dishwasher. He's too big now. But he would go under there, probably because he smelled that the ferrets used to go under there. And I'm sure that there's probably toys under there and maybe some poop. I'm not sure. But because they're crazy. Actually, we had to move the dishwasher once, I think. So I think my husband got everything out that was under there. And then there were some toys and also some socks because Quicksilver liked to steal my husband's socks, especially dirty ones. Those were his favorite. But these ferrets, they had their own room in my house. They had 2 cages, but I didn't lock them in their cages. Their cages were just the areas where they could, like, eat and poop and whatever. Although, by the end of their lives, they just pooped everywhere. But you can train a ferret to poop in a litter box. Mine just didn't quite get there. When one would learn, the other one would mess it up, and they would play off of each other that way, which was awful. So at some point you just give up and you just put puppy pads in all the corners that you think they're going to poop in. It's just the way you do it. It's, but they just had so many funny things that they would do. Like, I had the shark bed for them, and Ferris would lay in the shark bed. And he'd bring over his, like, favorite toy, and he'd put it just outside the shark bed, and then he'd lay down in the center. And then Lady would come prancing over. Do. I'm so innocent. Take his toy and run away with it. Little thief. She's a little sneaky one. Like, you're such a sneak. Such a sneak. Sneaky. And she was so sweet, though, because she would cuddle and give kisses and stuff. Ferris was a biter. He was the only biter. Quicksilver had bitten, but he wasn't a biter. So, like, we used to play this squeaky toy noise to get the ferrets out from their hiding places. And, like, mimics like a baby ferret or something. So we'd play this noise. It'd be squeaking. And this one time, mind you, I'm naked, right? And I'm playing this noise, trying to find the ferrets around my house. And I'm playing the noise. I got 2 ferrets following me. And I'm just looking for one. And then all of a sudden, Quicksilver goes on the back of my leg. Woo! Did that hurt? And he did it another time, too. Where I was wearing pants. That also hurt. And there's holes in my pants. Because they were leggings. But yeah. Ferrets, such a joy. I could probably tell you more stories about them. I used to take them out on leashes. Oh, one last story I'll tell you before I let you go here. We went to... Oh, actually, I'll start this thing while I do that so I can wash my face. We went to Aruga's one time, and I was coming from work, and it was one of the days where I had my therapy ferret, which was a lady, and I only had her. I didn't have the other ones. And we were meeting a friend at Aruga's, and I was like, I'll just bring the ferret. She can stay in my purse, and it'll be fine. And I did do that. And she did make me look out a few times and be like, what's going on? And some of the workers definitely saw her. But they didn't say anything. So, she was adorable. Just sitting in my purse all curled up. It was so cute. Let's wash my face. Alright, well that's it for this week. Catch you next week.